Come on in, everyone. Come on in because we are here to talk about Love is Blind season 9 and the shocking finale. Shocking. Were y'all shocked? I know you weren't shocked that everyone said no, although I did predict, I really did think that Megan was going to say yes to Jordan. And let me tell you why I call it shocking. Not because there were a bunch of no's. I wasn't even really shocked in the end that Megan did say no. I was rooting for them because I try to root for love, but I realized the odds were not in my favor. But let me tell you what I was shocked at. I was shocked at how it made me feel. Did y'all feel like this season was particularly harsh, mean-spirited? I don't know what the words are. That's kind of how I felt. We've had no's before. We've been watching Love is Blind for a while. We've had no's before. But these no's at the altar seemed a little bit different. It almost seemed as if there was a great effort to act. But the way that they somewhat led on the people, I don't know. I didn't like it, y'all. We know this is a reality TV show. It's supposed to be unscripted. Part of it felt as if some of these ladies were auditioning for their next show. I'm not gonna lie. It felt like, we know that Love is Blind is a pipeline into Perfect Match, Love Island, or something like that. I'm wondering now, do people come on Love is Blind and when they realize that there's no one in the pods that they like, what they do then next is just focus on getting chosen to get more camera time. And unfortunately, if that's your strategy, then there's going to be collateral damage. And I think we had a lot of collateral damage. But we're going to get started. They had a little bit of the bachelorette party. I'm glad they didn't show much of it at all. But it was interesting to see a part where Megan was speaking to her friends and she was saying that the lifestyle that she was envisioning with Jordan, she may not be able to get it. This is before we learned that she turned him down. And she says she doesn't always want to travel by herself. And her friend said, it sounds like you're more in love with the kid than you may be in with Jordan. What Megan was in love with is the idea of a life that she's envisioned for herself. And I said it last episode, and I think I got confirmation. The life that Megan described, which is, I live a carefree life, I have a lot of money, I travel all around the world, and that if I get with Jordan, I won't be able to do that. What I said last episode was she doesn't actually have that life, and she admitted it. What she admitted to was that she has money and she has time and she has no one to go with. No one to go with, because most people work and most people don't get 4 months off. And also most people work and most people can't afford to take fancy vacations. So when you are a person and you have more money than the average person or even in your circle, guess what? You're going to have some lonely moments because you're going to have money and you're going to have time. But everyone can go with you. And then you're going to have to decide, well, to get a person to go with me, I'm probably going to have to pay their way. Maybe they can get time off work, but they don't have the money. I'm going to have to pay. There's a little bit of birdie out there in the street. Spoiler alert, real quick. Well, I can't really say it's a spoiler because we don't know if it's true, but it's all over the blogs. It's all over Us Weekly and all these other fancy magazines that Megan is going to show up to the reunion pregnant, and that she already has birthed the child, and that she supposedly got pregnant right after the show was taped. I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Because like I said, Megan was seeking a certain life, and they say this gentleman that might be the father of the child lives in her home. She moved out of LA. She did exactly what she said she was going to do. She sold her $1.5 million or $2 million house in LA, and she went to Colorado and she bought a house in her name. And there's a man living in it. There's a man living in it, in her house that she bought. Sounds just like Jordan. But the difference is she decided, I'm going to have my own baby and I'm not going to be just a stepmom to Luca. I'm going to have my own baby. But in the end, I can believe this story with Megan, because what it would mean is what I said before with Megan. Her love language is quality time. She might be using these fancy vacations and her money to get what she really wants, which is quality time. And I think she was very attracted to the family unit. I think that she was. And maybe this show taught her something. Maybe it taught her something. But anyway, I'm going to play my introduction video real quick. Not video. It's like 30 seconds. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about these couples that didn't say yes at the altar. See you in a minute. Okay, we're back, y'all. We're back. And I got to give it up to the mamas. I got to give it up to Anton's mama. I got to give it up to KB's mama. They really showed up really sweet, kind. And Anton's mama was really trying to get him to the altar. She really was trying hard. And it would have been nice to see some babies that could speak both Russian and Portuguese. Wouldn't that have been interesting, y'all? But anyway, Alli's friends were not having it. I could tell from the beginning Alli wasn't going to get married, because we knew even prior to this day she was going to say no. But it was a done deal when I saw her mother disagree with the wedding, when I saw her sister show up with that scowl on her face. She didn't want her to get married. And then when her friends were laughing at Anton and clowning him for being a truck driver. And she said, a woman of your character, Alli, could you forever be married to a truck driver? Ooh, ooh, ooh. It's really hard to marry a man when he already doesn't have the respect or the admiration of the mother, who felt that he drank too much. He doesn't have the respect and admiration of your friends. He doesn't have the respect and admiration of your sisters. Now, these are two divorced women talking to Alli at this time. I'm not sure they're the best people to give advice to her on. But in the end, I could tell that she wasn't going to get married, because no one was in Anton's corner except Anton's mama. And Anton sat there and said, as Alli wasn't overlooking any of his flaws, his drinking, his truck driver status, which she calls her flaws, he was overlooking all of hers. He says, oh, she's not only beautiful, that's the only thing he saw, but she's not good with money. He says, nor does she cook and clean. So what are you getting, Anton? You're getting a woman that ain't good with money. She can't cook. She can't clean. She's unforgiving. Because she definitely unforgiving of you. She has her foot on your neck. Anton. Anton was being superficial. He really was, because he really didn't look deep enough at Alli. And like Anton's, I don't know if that was his friend or sister, said after Alli told him no at the altar, that girl said, that effing B, she cold-hearted. She is cold-hearted. But Alli was faking it all along. Like I said, the Great Actress Award goes to Alli and KB. Oh, I just love him so much. She lied in front of his face, said that she loved that man. I don't believe it. But Alli's mother said, nope, drinking every day is not going to work in our family. The mama didn't like it. And every time they talked about Anton drinking, after Alli left him at the altar, what did Netflix do? But show that man sitting there drinking up that champagne. He said, I ain't letting this good champagne go to waste. Then Alli started talking about his bad eating habits. You mean the food you don't cook, Alli? Alli said, you got bad eating habits, but I ain't cooking for you. Do you even go to the grocery store and order any healthy things? Nah, Alli said, I am not here to make your life better, Anton. You are here to make my life better. And she talked about his drinking and his eating. And even little girls in the audience were crying. Did y'all see that little girl crying? That was so sad. The kids should not be invited to these weddings because this is a bad, traumatic experience for a young girl or a young boy to see growing up, maybe envisioning themselves getting married and then seeing people left at the altar. There's going to be some therapist out there who's going to have to work with some of these young children. But Alli did Anton dirty. Netflix did Anton dirty, showing him drinking and eating like that. But in the end, Anton, I don't know what to tell you. You should have known. You should have seen it. You were blinded by the looks, the physique. And I wouldn't be surprised if Alli turns up on Perfect Match or Love Island. But when she got to that wedding altar, she said, the man I fell in love with in the pods was not the man I met in real life. And for that reason, I am not going to marry you. And there we go. There we go. Talking about people who need a therapist, we're going to move on to Edmond. He going to need one. Listen, I know there are a lot of licensed therapists who do reviews on Love is Blind. Some of y'all need to offer Edmond some free sessions. I'll offer him. I'm not no licensed therapist. I do coaching. I'll offer him a free coach. I'm going to reach out to him anonymously and say, hey, you want somebody to talk to? I'll talk to you. Because I do feel sorry for Edmond. And I really felt sorry for Edmond when he broke down on that altar and cried like he was crying from the pit of his soul. It felt like a wounded dog got run over by a freight train. It just, you could feel his pain. And I really felt his pain when he said at the end, it's hard out here in these streets. This was my best option. My best option was to come on this show and find a wife, and this didn't work. I'm running out of options. You're not running out of options, Edmond, but you exercising the wrong options first. Your first option needs to be to get some help, get some therapy, get some coaching. We thought we was tired of Annie telling Nick all season long, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. It was nauseating. It was nauseating after a while to hear Edmond tell KB about how he had never loved anyone like this. He said, I ain't got cold feet. My feet are hot for KB. And he's crying and he's overwhelmed. And KB is running around lying to everyone, lying to her friends, lying to her mama, lying to everyone, talking about how much she loves this man. And she says, I see a loving man. I see a trying man. I see a healing man, and I see a stubborn man. KB, girl, are you writing a thesis? Are you writing a thesis? KB needs to leave the work that needs to be done with Edmond to someone else, not her. And one thing that you be listening to KB, what she talked about a lot, was how much Edmond makes her feel loved. I believe it. I believe that's why KB stayed with Edmond. People are wondering why she chose him. She chose him because there are two dueling feelings in KB. One is one of frustration that Edmond couldn't be the man she wanted him to be. But the other feeling, which is a good feeling, is having a person by your side that no matter what you do, no matter what you say, no matter what flaws you may have, what you do wrong, they go nowhere. They stick beside you. They stick it through. And what KB is saying is that she has never felt more loved. Really, KB, what you're feeling is that's not the kind of love you should want, because you should have some accountability. And just because Edmond sat there and took all that abuse from you, that's not what you should be looking for in a marriage, for someone to sit there and do that to you. So I know why she felt loved, because she realized that she couldn't do anything to shoo Edmond away. He would be there. But KB's mama, I'm going to give her an MVP. She showed up, and she was there not only for KB, she was there for Edmond. And Edmond's mama didn't show up. She was a no call, no show, just like she's been his entire life. A no call, no show. but that biological daddy showed up. Is that the biological daddy? Because when I cross that biological daddy with that biological mama, I do not get Edmond. No, I don't. That's not what I get. So I think Edmond has an even more mysterious background because I think that mama has lied about who Edmond's daddy is. She may not even know because that man sitting in that audience was not his daddy. Where is Jerry Springer? We need a DNA test to prove it. And that daddy sat up there with that look on his face. He knew from the very beginning, this woman is not going to marry my son. He knew it. There was not a moment of a smile being cracked. He knew it from the very beginning. And when KB's mom said to her, we're about to get married, KB just looked at her mama and didn't even say yes. She already knew she was going to say no. But you know what? Another MVP was that 5th grade teacher that showed up for Edmond. Loved the scene, almost like a surrogate mom to him, showing how she believed in him, how she stayed in his life. This is the kind of things that teachers do to children every single day. They're out there. Those teachers are out there. And this woman showed up for Edmond. And I won't be surprised, Edmond, if the person that you should be marrying may not be a woman of African-American descent. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. Because a lot of times when we find our comfort in a mother figure, we sometimes also try to find a woman that fits that mother. And right now, as Edmond said, I have a mother 1 and I have a mother 2. And mother 1 was the mother that birthed me, but sent me to foster care. And in a lot of ways, you chose a woman, KB, like mother 1. That's what you did, Edmond. A woman who doesn't know how to say anything nice to you. But really, Edmond, you might want to choose a woman like your mother 2, which was your surrogate mother, your 5th grade mother, right? You need to switch mamas. If you want to get a woman like your mama, you need to switch from picking them like your bio mother and start picking them like your surrogate mother. But the way that woman comforted him, consoled him, it really warmed my heart. And when KB had her final speech with Edmond to let him know, this isn't just a no now, this is a no forever. Because what she told that man is, this has been a stepping stone in my life. Damn, KB, a stepping stone? I'm a stepping stone. So you stepped on me so you could step up. KB don't even hear herself. I've been saying it over and over again that KB does not hear herself. But when you tell a person, you have been a stepping stone in my life and I will never forget you, that's not what makes you feel good, KB. It really isn't. And KB says it's hard out here being me. And this was his best chance. And he's very lonely out here in this world. Therapists, family therapists, coaches, everyone, reach out to Edmond. Offer him some free counseling sessions because we need to get this man healed and married. We really, really do. But last, we're going to talk about Megan and Jordan because they didn't make it. I got to give Megan kudos to not dragging it to the altar. I really, really do. She said, we're not really all that similar at all. You're a picky eater. I'm not. I'm adventurous. You like to stay home. You like to eat chicken protein shakes. I got a lot of money. I have enough money to go buy the real protein stuff. And she says, for the last 4 years, I've been doing things on my own. I told y'all so. She's not describing a life that she gave up. She's describing a life that she wants. Those are 2 different things. And that's why I said over and over again that what she was describing was not a man, Jordan, who was making her give up a life. She was describing that she was thinking she might can't have her dream. And Jordan, to be honest with you, I didn't really like his responses. I understood that he was hurt, but I thought he was also a bit cold. And I thought a lot of his approach and the way that he handled Megan's feelings, I thought they were a bit distant. And he almost, in a lot of ways, sometimes even invalidated some of her feelings. Now, he said, you've had a lot of men with flexibility. No, she hasn't. She just told us she really hasn't. She had a lot of men that made money, but not flexibility. Those are two different things. And he said, I told you you would have to make sacrifices to be with me. Well, the part about Jordan that I wish he would have also admitted was that he too would need to make some sacrifices to be with Megan, because both parties need to make sacrifices. And Jordan didn't do that. And he also brought up, you also have 5 years on me. I thought these were slight digs that Jordan was doing. And he, as if in 5 years, I'll catch up to you, Megan. No, you won't. No, you won't. I think this is going to teach Megan something. I think in her not choosing Jordan, she learned something. And that's why I believe she has this baby. She learned that money isn't everything. And what good is money if you don't have anyone to spend time with? I think Megan learned that. And I think what she did was she struck a bit of a better balance by going out and finding this other man and having this baby. I don't know if she got married, but Jordan said that Megan had enough money that she wouldn't even need to work for the rest of her life, which meant that any man that Megan probably gets with, she is going to have probably more of a net worth. But balance is key. And Jordan was just a little bit too dogmatic in his ways. He may blame Megan for not wanting to make all the sacrifices she needed to make, but he was also, to me, a little bit hard and dogmatic in his position as well, and didn't want to come closer to the middle for her. So he can't blame Megan completely. He also needs to look at his own actions. And I think that he wasn't as compromising as he should have been. But Megan left and said in the end, she didn't know how challenging it would be to be a stepmom. And she says, now it made me question whether or not I'm fit to be a mom at all. And I think in the end, she said, maybe I'm too caught up in my own life. And Megan went home, and I think she made adjustments. She realized that, no, I don't want to be a stepmom. I want to be a birth mom. And she said, no, I'm okay with a man making less money than me. I don't have to have the billionaire. And then I think she meant also, I want someone that's going to have time to travel with me. And I think those are the adjustments she made. I hope she's happy. Something tells me that she is, to be honest with you. So that's all I got, y'all. I will see you next time. If any of you are Married at First Sight fans, I will be reviewing Married at First Sight. That starts soon. So I hope you will come back and join me for those reviews. Talk to you later. Bye.